Hello, this is the Trade Detective from RecordPriceBreakout.com, and today I wanted to address an opinion that I'm seeing floating around the internet that the market is currently showing a head and shoulders bottom pattern. And let me just start by saying quickly that it is highly doubtful that this is a head and shoulders bottom. And there are several reasons why I believe this to be the case. But let me start with the primary one. What I have here is stockcharts.com and the definition of head and shoulders bottom. Now, there's a bunch of information here, but the one that I want to call out here is the this part right here. The most important moment for volume occurs on the advance from the low of the right shoulder. For a breakout to be considered valid, there needs to be an explosion of volume on the advance and during the breakout. So let's take a look. This is a chart of the Dow. I would normally use the S&P 500, but of course they don't. Market Club does not show total volume for the S&P. Actually, none of the charting packages do, so I'm using the Dow. So what I've done here is I've drawn in what people are calling the head and shoulders pattern, and basically what you want to see here is if this is the right shoulder right here. Let me just draw that in right here. If this here is the right shoulder, this is the left shoulder, and this is the head. Okay, this is RS. Okay. What we should see here is as soon as this advance happens, we should see some kind of a heavy volume spike. But what we've seen is volume declining, and obviously that invalidates this as a breakout pattern. Now this here, let me take this off the screen. This here is the neckline. Okay, this line here is the neckline, so I'm just going to draw that out so you can see where the breakout occurred, which is here. Okay, the breakout was here, and from here on you don't really see anything major in volume. In fact, what you really see here is a decrease in the number of shares traded on the Dow. So if the most important volume indicator to validate a head and shoulders bottom is an increase in volume from the bottom of the right shoulder up, and we didn't get that, of course that's a problem. And the other part that I wanted to read to you is this part here. It says volume plays an important role in head and shoulders tops, but it's crucial in head and shoulders bottom. Without the proper expansion of volume, the validity of any breakout becomes suspect. It says volume can be measured as an indicator using on-balance volume or Chaikin money flow, or simply by analyzing the absolute levels associated with each peak and each trough. And you can pretty much see you got really heavy volume expansion into the head, and you had a nice volume spike pushing up from the bottom. But after the shoulder has been created, you don't really see much of anything. This whole part of the rally has been happening on declining volume. And to go along with that, of course, we can look at some other indicators. By the way, this is a weekly chart. This is a weekly chart of the Dow. But there's some other things that we can take a look at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this weekly chart to a daily chart. Of course, my lines are going to be slightly off because I drew those on the weekly chart. But take a look at this. This is the MACD, and oops, let me get that lined up for you. So this is the MACD, and what you can see is, from the bottom we had a nice rally up, and the MACD kind of followed along. But then what's happened here is, oops, let's take that off because that's not what I want. Let's get my pen. Here we go. What you've seen here, it's slightly increased, but it's been pretty much flat all the way from right about in here, while the market has increased from this level almost 1,000 points. So if you look in this range, the market has gone up and up and up, but the MACD has been relatively flat. So you're seeing declining volume, okay? Volume's declining, no real major volume spike to speak of coming out of the shoulder, right? Out of the shoulder, we would want to see a bar like this bar, okay? Or any of these bars. But we don't. We don't see any major volume spike. And we see what looks like a topping pattern in the MACD. So this is not yet been confirmed and is highly doubtful to be a true head and shoulders bottom pattern. Now, there is one thing that could happen that could turn this into a more uh, likely pattern. And what that is, of course, is if this neckline gets retested and proves itself as support, and then on a bounce, you get a very large spike in volume. And what that looks like is this guy here. This is an example that is off of stockcharts.com of AT&T, and you had that, left shoulder, right shoulder, you had a spike in volume coming up here, and then what happened is it broke out. Now here on the breakout you would have liked to have seen a big bar, but you didn't get one. But what you did get is a couple of bounces, and you see that the neckline has become support, and then once it broke above this initial push high, you get a huge spike in volume, and then the stock takes off. So that is a possibility, and looks very similar to what we're getting now. So that is possible, but I don't think so. I don't think that's what we're getting here. This is looking more and more top heavy and less like a true head and shoulders breakout. So that's my forecast of the market, of course. I'm still bearish on this market. I think it's going to turn around and at least correct, if not, go back and continue the bullish downtrend. Let's go ahead and just put that up on the screen so you can take a look at what I'm talking about. We're still in a downtrend. This is still clearly a bearish rally or a bear market rally, and we haven't done anything to take that out yet. Will we? Well, maybe. No one knows, but as you can see by looking at this, there's some really heavy-duty overhead resistance that we're running into right now. This rally has been happening on lower and lower, and of course this volume doesn't really count much, but you've seen most of this rally happen on lower and lower volume. I don't see what's supporting it. It's got to run out. So I hope you find this useful, and good luck in your trading. Take care.